Public hearing on the proposed 2022 budget on this snowy Monday night, November 29 at 6 p.m. Before I get into a discussion on the individual components of the budget.
We're
Yep,
getting
I
some
just-
feedback from the TV.
Yep. Okay.
Got it? Okay,
Sorry.
so that's all right. I thought I heard too much noise in the background. All right. As I started to say, welcome, and before I discuss the individual components of the budget, I want to highlight a few achievements of your town board. And I'd like to start by making this meeting an easy one and talk about the mill rate, which is the cost per thousand of assessed value that you pay for your that generates your property tax bill for the town. And the mill rate for 2020 was 86.5 cents per thousand. So if you have a $150,000 home, that would convert to $129.85 in property taxes. All right. In 2021, I'm happy to say that the mill rate is 86.6 cents per thousand. So on that same $150,000 home, your property tax bill would go from $129.85 last year to a whopping $129.99. That's an increase of 15 cents. So I think the town has done well in managing your money as well as other little things that we do. So where does that put us in comparison with did an analysis of governmental units in all of Door County, and Sevastopol was the third lowest. Only the town of Egg Harbor and the town of Sturgeon Bay were lower, and the town of Egg Harbor beat us out by a penny. So we were pretty close to being second lowest. All comparisons aside, we have a beautiful town hall that is well used by our community, and it is mortgage-free. We also have zero debt, another item that was mentioned in that article if you didn't see it. We have also removed a community eyesore this past year by demolishing the Muscat property. Those were the buildings that were across the street from the Mill Supper Club. It is your town board's intentions to make additional investments in 2022 to improve our town park with enhancements to the pavilion and tennis court, and perhaps also deal with further problem properties. So, just as a backdrop, I thought I'd share the good news with you if you hadn't seen it already. So, last year we had no one because of COVID. This year we have 3 people. So we've upped our attendance tremendously. So what I'll do is I'll take you through the town budget as I have in the past. And I won't focus on all 200 and whatever it is, number of items, but I will focus on those things where there's been a significant change or something that merits a point of interest. And I'll start on the first page under expenditures. The first item down there that is a change will be the clerk treasurer salary. We are taking our clerk treasurer up to $60,000 for 2022. That is a cost of living increase that follows inflation. We absolutely value what she's done for us, as you've heard me say in the past. She is the town for all intents and purposes, and certainly merits the increase based on the amount of effort she has put in for us and for you, the townspeople. Our attorney legal fees, we're going to keep those at the same $15,000. Our legal fees over the last few years have risen primarily because of 2 things the town board has taken action on. One is the short-term rental, and we will continue with that more from a compliance perspective in 2022. And also she has worked through the building raise orders that we have done on the Muscat property, and as well as other buildings to follow in the next year. Dropping down to row 14, election supplies, increase from $1,750 to $3,500. That's primarily based on charges that we are given from others, as well as maintenance and equipment, and also it's impacted by the number of elections that we have. And you see that in line 14 with election poll workers, where we go from $3,000 to $8,000 because of a potential 4 elections in 2022. Postage, line item 17. I only mention this because I think this outline, this is an example of the outstanding thing that Amy does for us. Knowing that there was a postage increase, she went and pre-bought, what, $3,000 worth of stamps?
Yes.
I know you might think that's minor, but I wish I could say that I had done that for my home. So she took advantage of that, and that's why the postage jumped up beyond our budget. Excuse me, and it is lower for next year. Under assessor reval, line item 21, we're continue to put money towards the eventual reval, another $5,000, which brings us to excuse me, 114,000 last year, so another almost 120. And as our assessor mentioned to us earlier, we are closing in on that point where we'll have to consider a revaluation. Excuse me. All right, hopefully that was the end of that. Tax collection fees, line item 23, goes up from 2,400 to 4,000, and that's an increase that's passed on to us by the county. They're the people that generate our tax bills and do the actual collection, and they increased their fee for the first time in, what, 20 years, Amy?
Yes.
So, not that great, but they did increase them. Flipping the page, line item 27, Town Hall Grounds. Our budget is going to go from $2,500 to $5,000. We have some repair work on the ground. Specifically, one item would be our concrete walkway out front. If you've noticed, for some reason, it's decided to no longer be one solid slab. Town Hall repair and maintenance, that's a decrease from 10,000 to 8,000. Although we do have a roof section that over the front entrance that is given up the ghost and is going to need to be repaired, and we're in the process of getting that roof replaced in that area. Park grounds, line item 33. We are continuing with the same dollar budget of 17,000, even though our expected year end is 15. We're doing that because essentially we have given our employees all a raise. As you have seen in the marketplace, you can get $15 an hour at McDonald's. We're not interested in having our park employees disappear flipping burgers. So we've given them a raise to maintain our competitive posture. Line item 40, Wisconsin Retirement System. There's an increase in that category over the prior year, and that's due to an adjustment in the rate from the state as well as a raise for Amy. As she gets an increase, our contribution increases. Line item 43, short-term. Oh boy, good time to have this. Line item 43, short-term rental expense, $15,000. This is the membership with Granicus, the software company we are using to implement that, as well as administrative costs and postage. And that'll be offset by income later on in this discussion. Room tax administrative cost of $20,000. When the county went from 5 to 8% on room tax, it changed the methodology that the town has to use to pay its fair share of the Door County Room Tax Commission or zone. And instead of that money coming out of the 70-30 split with Door County Visitors Bureau, it now comes out on a formula based on how much income we receive from room tax. We're expecting that to be in the category of $20,000. All right. Fire protection, line 48. This is the coming, 2022 is the final year of our 3-year agreement with the city for fire protection. So our fees are going from $366 to $377 next year. And next year we will have to deal with the renewal of that for future years starting in 2023.
Can we ask a question?
Sure.
I'm just wondering, for fire protection,
Yes?
doesn't insurance cover, I don't know this answer, but I'm wondering, doesn't our insurance pay for that, like our personal insurance for?
No.
No? Okay.
This is fire protection provided by the city. So if this building burns, we do not have a fire department. So they'd come hopefully and catch it while there's still some building left.
Okay.
One item in the first responder, line 51, their training, they have their meetings and they give us their expected budget items. In this case, they've increased theirs from $2,700 to $4,800, and that's because they have additional training planned for next year. Line item 59, under Public Works, road maintenance and mowing, that goes from $8,000 this year to $22,000 next year. Every other year, our budget increases or doubles depending on the estimated cost from the county, because we go from doing a single cut on the edge of the road to doing a fence line to fence line cut. And so next year is the fence line to fence line, so they end up spending significantly more time trimming back the weed growth. Road maintenance and repairs, line item 60. We had budgeted $36,000, our actual is negative $34,000. And this is more of an accounting, if I recall, right, Amy?
Correct.
I think we actually had some items that were under maintenance that should have been under construction or vice versa, and so we moved that around. But we're continuing with the same $36,000 for the upcoming year. Road construction, we continue to try and chip away at the 87 miles of the road in the town, and I've mentioned in the past, generally speaking, you get your road paved once every 40 years. We're trying to improve upon that, so we're going to increase our budget for next year from the $300,000 to $400,000 for new construction. Traffic and street signs, currently this will be at $6,000. We have the county taking care of our street signs. On our road tours, we have found that far too many of our street signs have either become bleached by the sun or knocked over by the plow or leaning or whatever. And so we're trying to play catch up in that category as well. So if someone sees a street sign that's bleached out, you can't read it, the post is knocked over, whatever, please feel free to call the town hall and we'll get it taken care of. We do a road tour in May and we try and pick up anything that we hadn't caught the year before. Snow removal. I say this hopefully with my fingers crossed because it's been snowing twice already and I think we'll end up having a plow. But we budgeted $130,000 in 2021 as our costs had escalated year over year. We were down below that significantly this past year, so we're going to try and go back to $100,000, which would be a decrease. And hopefully the snowman does not get at us, but that's at best a good guesstimate. I think that takes care of everything on that page. Okay, on line item under town park, on line item 78, we have town park fields, and our budget was $2,500 last year. In 2022, it's $11,500. We have entered into an agreement with the Sevastopol School District to do a major renovation to the baseball field, and that work is scheduled to be done in the summer of 2022, and that's the difference there. We are actually splitting the cost with the school district for the repair of that field where it's been a problem with water runoff. Okay, dropping down the line item, excuse me, 89, broadband expansion grant.
Derek has a question.
Yes.
Which field, is it the one closest to us?
The baseball field, the big one.
The big one? Okay.
Right. Okay, broadband expansion grant, we had budgeted $75,000 for a broadband partnership with Door County Broadband. That did not occur in 2021. We are carrying those funds over into 2022. We are also looking at using some of our ARPA funds for broadband. We are we recently received the preliminary results of the broadband study that was commissioned by the Door Economic Development Council. And they are working with the county and trying to get all of the different towns together to understand what opportunities might this give us, and asking us to pool some of our resources to maybe get something really started in the way of broadband expansion. So we'll keep you up to speed on that as we move forward. Speaking of the Door County Economic Development Council, they've asked us to help fund their efforts. So for this year, we are going to be budgeting $1,000. The money we did in the past was our contribution. The $55,000 was our contribution for the study that they undertook and that was just completed. Sturgeon Bay Visitors Bureau, we had in the past given them $5,000 for funding their organization, but with the 8% room rate increase, we feel that they will be adequately funded without any additional funds from the town. So we are not putting anything forward for that group this year. There is a slight increase in the Door County Coastal Byways, and that's due to an increase in dues and also their desire to improve their website and make some other enhancements. So, drop down to the bottom of that page, line item 101, Capital Park Recreation. We have a significant increase in funds there, going from a $40,000 budget to next year is $148,000. The funds that are in there are monies that we have accumulated at the town level, some monies that we expect to use from our ARPA funding from the feds, and we're making investments there for replacement of a lawnmower, as well as working on the pavilion, making some enhancements to the pavilion, as well as reconstruction of the tennis courts. So hopefully you'll see some action on that next spring, summer. Okay. Well, no, we have no debt service. Why do I have that highlighted? Oh, I know, that's why. Because we have no debt service. Pretty good. So anyhow, line item 109, total expenditures and debt, $1,523,348 for 2022. And then we drop down to revenue, where are we getting all of this money? One of the areas is the highway aids. Each year we receive highway aids from the state. The state has been ever so begrudgingly raised the amount of highway aids that we get. Next year we expect to get $227,000. We're going to spend all of that and another approximately $175,000 for road construction. On line item 116, LRIP trip, every few years the county has a pot of money that they share with different towns. We were fortunate last year to get $20,000 for road construction. We applied for next year, did not receive any funding. That's why that item is blank. Line item 121, room tax reimbursement. Part of the arrangement with Destination Door County is that they will rebate back to us our room tax costs. So earlier I mentioned that we expected that to be about $20,000. We are expecting them to rebate back the $20,000 that we spend on tourist-related activities, which in this case means, since our town has limited tourism per se, will be park enhancements to bring the public in. So hopefully that all washes out. And then dropping down to 127, short-term rental license fees. I mentioned earlier the costs associated with implementing the short-term rental ordinance, and this is the recovery side of that, where we will receive license fees that offset those software costs and some of that administrative cost to implement the short-term rental ordinance.
I do have a question on number 126.
On what number?
126, the license for the dogs.
License for the dogs.
Yes.
Okay.
I know it sounds really stupid, but for spayed or neutered, it's $3, and intact, it's $8 per year, right? That,
We
Just-
only get to,
I have to give Amy, I
Okay.
don't keep track
Yep,
of
that's
that.
correct, but we only get about 25 cents per tag.
oh, okay.
The town keeps that, and the rest goes to the county.
Oh, okay, because I'm like, it doesn't make sense that only 8 dogs
Yeah.
would be, okay.
I'm gonna guess you have a dog.
Yeah,
Oh, there you go. I don't have a dog.
Tell
and they-
anybody.
I do have another question on, so that relates to numbers 53 through 55, I think. Yeah, animal control,
I'm sorry, what number? What page? are we-
53, 54, and 55.
Okay, I have to go back there.
Yeah, on animal control.
All right,
I'm just-
53, animal, yes.
It just seems like a lot of money for stray dogs. Can't we just deal with the stray animals by ourselves?
No,
Or if we have a stray animal, we call and we pay for it to be removed?
I wish that were the case.
Okay,
What happens is,
well, we're contract.
we contract,
you
yes.
did,
And-
okay.
and- Yes.
We contract for that service. What was happening in the past, quite frankly, is I would get a call and someone would tell me to come pick up the dog. So after you've done a few of those, you decide that that's really not your forte. And so we
Yeah.
contract it, as other towns do, with one person who picks up the dogs and then takes those dogs to the Humane Society. And then the owner is supposedly comes in, pays the necessary fees, et cetera. And then we do a donation to the Door County Humane Society. The Door County Humane Society gets funding. There is no mandatory funding. They get all their fundings through donations and contributions. So we pay to contribute towards that, because without them, we'd have a significant problem, so. Okay? Help me where I was.
128.
Yeah.
128, all right. Building permits. Budgeted 49.5 in 2021, increasing it to 55,000 in 2022. The town receives 10% of the building permits. There's a offset to that on expenses as well as revenue. So the gist of it is we pick up approximately $5,000 out of the building expense. The rest goes to the inspectors. Town hall rental income. Hopefully, if COVID and all the other variants remain calm, cool, we expect the town hall rental income to increase to $1,200. That's pretty minor, but I think we've already had some people that have started to use the facility even as recently as last Thursday, right?
Yes, correct.
So it is available again. Field reimbursement, line item 136. This comes from the school district, and it's been $3,500 in the past. We're in the process of renegotiating that for the future. Why you see the increase of $7,000 at the year end is because they ended up paying us, instead of each year, it ended up getting a double payment in 1 year. Otherwise, it's standard at $3,500. Dropping down to 143, federal grants, ARPA, recovery, this is the federal money we talked about. The town is getting approximately $250,000. We received the first little more than half of that this year, so that's why the positive is in there of $139,000. We'll receive the second half in May of next, is it May, I think, Amy?
June.
Or June, for that. And there are a variety of projects that we're looking at to use some of those funds for, as well as other things besides broadband. Line item 153. This is interest that we receive on everything that's really outstanding. If anybody would like to borrow some money from the town and willing us to give us more than $1, we'd be interested in talking to you, if they need to refinance your mortgage, whatever. Essentially, it's $1,000 a year, but we've gone from years where we were at 8,000, so it's obviously just like your your savings account. They're not paying us anything for our money either. So, okay. So flipping the page to taxes, 157, the tax levy, and I started out talking about the mill rate, all right? That mill rate, when you combine that up for all of the assessed value in the town, we are assessing a tax of $638,616. So you can see there what the increase has been. Basically, we have a top stop on the maximum amount of money that the town can levy in the way of tax, and that is based on the amount of new construction that happens within the town in the prior year. So for that, we got approximately a $7,000 increase year over year in what we could do in terms of tax levy. So if you drop down, you have revenues and receipts of $1,336,000. The town is applying a cash from our reserves of $186,000, balancing out the the total expenditures at $1,523,348. So that's everything on the budget. If somebody has a question, anything else that's out there, feel free.
I do have another question, just because I don't understand.
Don't feel bad, I don't either.
What? I'm just wondering about the park. It's very nice, and, but it seems like with all the expenses, we're not making, like, if you look at it like a business, we're not making enough for it to be profitable.
We
We're
don't
losing.
run the park as a profit item.
Okay,
The only time that we ever had a little profit, and not at the park, but at the concession stand.
okay,
We don't even run the concession stand anymore, it doesn't pay. So the community groups that use, like the ball fields, run the school, Institute Cubs and others, run the concession stand, and they benefit from it. They supply it, they run it. The park is just like any other common thing in the community. It's for the overall well-being and use of the community, and we'll never recover from it.
oh, okay.
We do have, if you want to take a little different look at it, we want people to use it as much as possible because we have a fixed cost there regardless. So if people don't use it, we still have to pay kids to come over and cut the grass and maintain and do all those things. So the more people that use it, the least that investment, you know, it's a better decision. But we have a fixed cost, and we're never even come close to approaching to recover any costs for that facility. As same goes with Clark Lake Beach. If you've been there, the boat ramp at Clark Lake and the Whitefish Bay Park boat ramp down there, operated all under the same guidelines. So, okay? All right, anyone else? Any other questions? All right, if not, we will end the public hearing on the proposed budget. And we'll take a couple minutes for our videographer to change over, and then we'll move on to the special town meeting. So. 30th at 6:30. Call to order. Special town meeting of electors called to order by the chairman, Dan Wolfel, at 6:25. Pledge of Allegiance. Introductions and procedures. In addition to myself, the following electors were in attendance: Mark Hain, Linda Waite, Jeannie Vogel, Derek Daniil, Laddie Chapman, and Amy Flock. We had no other attendance due to COVID. It's a change for this year. Approve the previous minutes from the 2020 budget meeting, which was November 25th of 2019. It was a motion by Linda Waite, seconded by Derek Daniil, to approve the minutes of the special budget meeting of November 25, 2019. Motion was carried. And then we approved resolution number 07-2020T to adopt the tax levy for 2020 to be collected in 2021. It was a motion by Laddie and a second by Mark to approve the resolution and to adopt the 2020 tax levy to be collected in 21. That tax levy back then was $631,584. Motion carried. There were no other resolutions, and there was a motion to adjourn by Laddie Chapman, second by Jeannie. Motion carried, and meeting ended at 6:30 PM, submitted by Amy. So we would need a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved to approve the minutes of November 30th, 2020 special town meeting.
Motion by Linda, second by Laddie, and you may vote in this. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right. The next is the Resolution 05-2021T Town. Adopt the tax levy for 2021 to be collected in 2022. And that resolution, really enjoy reading these. Whereas Section 60.10, subparagraph 1A of Wisconsin statutes authorizes the town electors of a town to adopt a tax levy at a town meeting of the electors, and whereas the special town meeting of the electors of the town of Sevastopol has been called this 29th day of November 2021, and whereas the 2022 proposed budget as presented by the Town Board of Supervisors projects a total expenditure of $1,523,348 with a general property tax levy of $638,616. Now therefore, the special town meeting of the town of Sevastopol, Door County, Wisconsin, by a majority vote of the eligible electors voting on this 29th day of November 2021, duly assembled and voting, resolves and orders as follows. Be it resolved that the electors of the town of Sevastopol, Door County, Wisconsin hereby adopt a town tax levy for 2021 to be collected in 2022 in the amount of $638,616. This is adopted the 29th day of November 2021 at a special town meeting. So with that, we would have a motion to approve and a second. And anyone can make that motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the resolution number 05-2021T.
Motion by Mark, second by Derek. All right. To approve resolution number 05-2021. All right. All those in favor, they are all in the town, so we should be good, right?
Is
Is
Clay
Are
18?
you 18?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, then you're eligible to vote.
okay,
Okay.
perfect.
So with that, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
11,
11.
right?
Got it.
11?
We have to record how many people voted of that. All right. And this is that portion. I gotta go back here. Okay, so there is no other resolutions. So the next item of business would be to adjourn from the special town meeting.
I move we adjourn.
Laddie, motion by Laddie, second by?
Second.
Second by Mark. All those in favor of our adjournment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? You could have slipped in here and opposed, but motion carried. All right, thank you. We'll take a couple minutes while the videographer sets up for the town board meeting, which will follow in about 5 minutes. Okay. I'd like to call to order the Board of Supervisors meeting for Monday, November 29th at 6:45. Roll call to establish a quorum, please.
Chairman Dan Waffle,
Here.
Supervisor Linda Waite,
Here.
Supervisor Mark Hain,
Here.
Supervisor Derek Daniel,
Here.
Supervisor Jeannie Vogel.
Here.
Way to go. Okay, good, thank you. Meet and greet. Do any of you, our audience tonight, have anything that you'd like to say under public participation? All right, good. We know who you are, you know who we are. I think we're good to go there. We've done the Pledge of Allegiance, so we're good on that front. Let's look at the agenda. I assume it was properly noticed,
The agenda was properly noticed.
and then we would need a motion to approve said agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion by Mark, second by...
I will second that.
Second by Derek to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, we're good to go on the agenda. Next item would be the approval of the minutes of the Board of Supervisors meeting from our October 18th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 18th, 2021 meeting.
All right, motion by Jeannie, second by
I will second that motion.
Linda to approve the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. All right, pending business discussion. We've had this back, I think we're on round 3, right, Amy?
I think it's only round 2.
Oh, is this round 2? We're gonna make it round 3, I have a feeling.
Wonderful.
Discussion, everybody had this, but I've already had 2 different people ask about making a change. So, you had a request to change,
Change the,
well, we're
this
actually,
actually next month's meeting.
this is next month's meeting. Okay, so we're a little bit behind because Linda wants to talk about next year's. But you want to try and change, if possible, next month's meeting?
Yes, to a week
December.
earlier. If possible, to December 13th.
Oh, I didn't bring my calendar in for this year.
Any idea on a guesstimate, Linda? That would be one,
You don't have any kids in middle school, do you?
Yeah,
Okay.
why?
It's the middle school, high school concert.
now, Amy, you
Thought they
have
were
a,
doing one this
Is
year,
that a
they're doing a
problem?
spring.
Is it a problem?
she's got a
It's fine.
conflict
No, I
with her
swear.
daughter.
Yeah, if it's a problem, so be it.
Um,
We'll keep it where it is.
I will check again, but I believe my daughter has their choir concert the 13th at 6 o'clock. So if we would move it back a little bit, it would
Well-
probably work.
Yeah, then my son will have it too. Jack will have it. But I thought I read an email saying that they're canceling it because of the
I haven't read
uptick,
that
and then they're
email.
gonna do it in the
Yeah,
spring.
taking the numbers.
Do you have a guesstimate, Linda?
I don't think I do, but
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, let's leave it like this. I know if you have conflicts with the school, I think we impacted this on you last year or whatever with your kids. So if there's a workaround that we could do it at 7:30 on the 13th, if that works, but I'll wait to hear back from you. We'll have plenty of
Okay.
time to change it, and that's subject to Linda, that you can
Right,
make it.
'cause-
If you can't, we'll keep it where it is.
okay. I'm going to Milwaukee that weekend for a long weekend, so.
Okay, just let me know. If it works, if not, we'll leave it where it is, and we'll just excuse Jeannie from that meeting. Stuff
Otherwise, it would be December 13th at
30.
7:30.
Okay,
I will let you know tomorrow.
okay, no hurry, thank you. And then, with respect to next year, Linda mentioned that the budget work session,
Right, Wisconsin Towns Association always has their annual convention. It's usually the early part of October, so I did check with them. And the 2022 convention is October 9th through the 11th. And again, this year we had a conflict, so I could not go. And as unit secretary treasurer, I do like to pop in there at least every other year, so could either make it later, because it's in Appleton this year, I could certainly drive back. So you could make it later that same day.
What time is it normally?
Well, it's what, an hour and a half to Appleton, so if that gets done at 4:30, 5:30, 6:30.
Well, it doesn't have to be on the,
pardon me?
it doesn't have to be
Doesn't
that
have to be
Monday
on the 10th,
for me.
Would Tuesday, the 11th work?
Well, she said it's the
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
11th as well.
Tuesday. Well, it concludes on the 11th, and usually you're out of there by 3 in the afternoon.
I misunderstood what you were asking, sorry. I
The
don't want you driving back,
Monday-
I don't want you driving back and forth to have to do
Well,
that.
I don't think I would stay at a hotel anyway if I'm only going to Appleton, so I would be coming home every night.
Okay, well, your choice. Either we move it to Tuesday, the 18th if you want, if that's more convenient for you, or,
No,
18th or the 11th?
Oh, the last
I'm
day of the
sorry.
convention is the 11th.
Last day, the
and that's
11th.
why-
I've done this twice. My
Yeah.
calendar's moving. Tuesday, the 11th.
Otherwise, Monday is fine, as long as you just push it back to maybe 6:30.
That's fine, I can do that too. You guys have a
What
preference?
do the others?
no, that's fine with me.
All right, let's do 6:30. We'll just make that meeting 6:30
On the 10th.
on the
Yeah.
10th. Date stays the same, it's just moved back in time. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Any other changes from anyone? You know we'd go 3 times. Okay. All right, that covers that. Amy, will you send out the revised one with an updated date on it, please? Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
And then the road inspection, we'll just do.
We'll figure out road inspection as we get into the spring in terms of what kind of time. All right, notice the spring election. The term of 2 of our town board supervisors are up, Derek Daniel and Jeannie Vogel. And December 1st is the first date that you can take out nomination papers if you're interested in running for one of those positions. And, yes, the same thing will be happening with all the county supervisors, right? They'll all be on that
Correct.
same timetable.
Yep.
So their jobs will also be up for grabs, so to speak. All right.
I do have a question about that. Would would the voting be on paper or electronically?
Our
The election?
election would always be here.
Is it a
It's a
paper?
ballot, it's a
So you-
paper ballot.
Paper ballot? Okay.
Right.
So is just the bigger elections with the computer?
We don't have any
We
elections.
don't have the electronic voting machine anymore. All of our
Okay.
ballots have been paper, correct, Amy?
All of our ballots are paper, but you do feed them into a machine that counts the ballots. Is that what you're talking about?
Maybe, yeah.
That, well, it essentially tallies the votes.
Okay. Is it Dominion?
Yes.
That is there any way that we could count them by hand?
We do count them at the end
You
of the
do-
night,
you double
but
check?
we just make sure that the number of ballots in the machine is the number that's on the tape. So, we don't go through and say, this one has this many votes for that person, or, we don't do that. But we do have to reconcile at the end of the election.
Okay.
Okay, so next item on the agenda is a motion to adopt the town budget for 2022. This is separate from the resolution, which is later in the agenda, or next in the agenda, okay? So we would, we need a motion to do that.
I will move to adopt the 2022 budget as presented this evening with a budget of $1,523,348 and a tax levy of $638,616.
Okay, we have a motion by Linda, a second by...
I'll second that.
Second by Jeannie to approve the town budget. Any discussion with respect to that? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we've adopted the budget. And I think what we'll do, as long as we're on the town budget, is I'll just drop down and then come back to ARPA. Let's go on with the approval of resolution number 06-2021 TB Town Board, establishing the tax rate for 2021 to be collected in 2022. All right? So, everybody has that resolution in front of them? And then a motion would be in order?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution, is it 06 or 05?
06.
06, 2021 TB to establish the tax rate for 2021.
Okay, motion by Derek, second by Mark, to approve resolution number 06, 2021 TB, establishing a tax rate for 2021. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, great, thank you.
My goodness.
Next item is, under one of the guidelines for ARPA funding that we received, that $250,000, there is an option underneath there to go back and to adjust the pay of our election officials. These are the people who are here every day during an election all day that Amy has, 14, 15 people, depending on the election. And as I read through this, frankly, I thought it was something that we should probably go back and do, not only for the future this year, but also for the people that stepped up last year when we had such a difficult time trying to find someone to work the elections. And this gives us the ability to go back and do that, and it's a legitimate use of those ARPA funds. Amy, I had asked if you could give us a ballpark if we went back and adjusted. Were you able to do that?
So last year, we had the 4 elections, and the poll workers worked a total of 563 hours. If we gave them the $13 per hour, the total would be $7,319. If you would decide to go with that premium pay option, I would suggest that we do it yet this year with having 4 elections next year. There might be some concerns about the amount a person can make and whatnot, so.
Okay. So, absolutely a drop in the bucket out of that money. I think it makes good use, but I leave it up to you if you think you agree, and then we would issue checks for those individuals for the time they serve for us, and also would adjust that pay for 2022.
For
20,
21.
21, we're gonna cover 21 and
And,
do 22.
For 22.
Right.
Okay. So we could anticipate another $7,700 added on. So,
Well, how
And
many
you-
elections, how many were there last year?
In 2020, there were 4. This year, there were 2. Next year, it's potential of 4. You don't necessarily have to go with the 13 per hour. It's a max of 13. I would think that, obviously, no one's expecting us to do that. So if you would prefer to do half that amount, or $10 flat, or,
so the calculation you did was at 13? So
I did it at the max amount. So, you know, anything less, obviously, is,
What do you
I have
think?
a couple questions.
Sure.
Right, Amy had mentioned about the threshold, so right now, the threshold for election workers to be exempt from withholding is $2,000. So even though they worked these hours in 2020, if we decide to reimburse or give them this additional amount, it will be in the year 2021. So no one would have to worry about exceeding that $2,000 credit because we don't, limit because we only had 2 elections this year, like Amy said. Okay, so it says that it can be paid through the ARPA funds. So from our funds that we've received already, or do we apply, and this is additional ARPA funds?
No. This
So
is
this 7,000 will be coming out of the
39.
140,000 that we've received this year?
correct.
Okay, and that's totally legitimate, qualifies as hazard pay, hero pay, whatever?
Yes.
Essential worker.
pay.
Essential worker.
Okay,
Which is the same fund that we are going to use to replenish the money that we gave Amy last year. They were eligible to do that same, make that same adjustment. So, okay.
How much do they make now per hour?
I believe they make 15.
So what would you like to do? I'm open from anywhere. I mean, I think we had a tough time getting these people to step up during COVID, and I don't have any problem giving them $10 an hour or whatever you feel is appropriate. And don't all speak up at once.
No, I
Okay.
give them credit for coming and putting themselves at risk. Obviously, it says if you're, if you were a frontline worker dealing with the public, physically handing items, ballots and pens and pencils and everything else, yes, you were definitely jeopardizing your health. Even though they all wore masks and hand sanitizers, Amy had the polling area well set up, being as clean and as safe as we could possibly be.
So would you like to make a motion?
How many workers do we have, Amy? Either way, $13, an additional $13 an hour times the number of workers comes out to $7,320.
Correct. Correct. I did the hours instead of the people.
And if they're making 15, is it $15 an hour now or 14?
It's 15.
15? Okay, so $28 an hour?
You might have lots of people beating our doors down. Oh, wait,
Is
nobody
this
wants to
going to
work.
be effective for 2022 as well, or don't we know?
I personally think we should I think we should start with 2020, and then we don't know how the world's gonna be 6 months from now. I have no idea. So we can make that determination then, and then see
That's,
how we feel about it. I mean,
Okay,
that's probably a good suggestion,
makes sense.
yeah.
So we're looking for a motion?
Yes.
All right, I will make a motion that we compensate our election inspectors for the 2020 election work that they did, using ARPA funds, with an additional $13 per hour, because $13 is the maximum that we can go, amounting to approximately $7,500, give or take a few. Oh, and that compensation be paid out in this year, 2021.
All right, we have a motion from Melinda, a second by
I'll
Second.
second that.
Oh, go ahead, Derek.
Derek. Any further discussion? The only thing I would add is I think Amy's got a good idea. Let's revisit this as we get into next year and see what the status is. Who knows with this goofy virus? But I think this is the right thing to do for those people that stepped forward. I know my wife declined, who had worked the polls, so it's certainly a worthwhile investment for those people, so.
And we could just, that it is for this specific time frame, and we're not setting a precedent.
Correct.
correct.
So what about the 2021 year? Not doing,
We're just gonna do, I think, the 2020 at this point.
Yep. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Amy will take care of the checks. All right. So we're off to the financial reports, and what you have is the account balances through October 31st, the budget versus actual through October of 2021, and the transactions by date for the month of October. All right. And what would our treasurer have to say? Any comments before we approve these little babies?
The town has received the remainder of its shared revenues from the state. And we have also received our reimbursement for the EMRs from Door County. And the 2021 property tax bills will be in the mail by December 15th.
Gee, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. We would need a motion to approve the financial reports for October.
Okay, I'll move to approve the financial reports for October 2021 as presented.
All right, motion by Linda, second by
I'll second that.
Jeannie. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're on. Okay, vouchers, bills, and claims. Who has those?
I have them.
Pardon me?
Amy hasn't.
Have they been signed off? Because I didn't sign them.
Didn't sign them?
You were the only one.
Thanks. I was
Can
gonna
we
say,
approve them if you don't sign them?
no, no, we don't. In fact, all those checks come back and I throw them in the shredder.
We're gonna take a 13-second recess, please.
Sorry.
You missed that.
I was gonna say, I didn't see them. I didn't recall seeing them. I thought since our legal bills were down for the month, this would be the first time we didn't have any bills.
Yeah.
All right. So a motion would be in order to approve the vouchers, bills, and claims October 19 through November 29th, 2021.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers, bills, and claims October 19th, 2021 through November 29th, 2021.
Motion by Mark, second by,
I have a question first,
okay,
Mr. Chairman. The cost of that Haberly Bridge, was that gonna be refunded by
all
insurance?
paid.
Yes,
Well
the
done.
insurance
Okay.
company paid for it.
That was my only question. I'll second it then.
Okay.
Okay. Motion by Mark, second by Derek to approve the vouchers, bills, and claims. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, opposed, okay. Oral committee and commission reports. Anybody have anything that they would like to chat about?
I would just like to comment on the Park and Rec. I'm glad that that committee is recognizing their park employees. You know, getting them to come back year after year is certainly saves on training time and, you know, getting to know the equipment and everything. So I'm glad to see that you are recognizing those employees, and I think they are very good employees, so I hope we can keep them.
Plus, we save on sweatshirts and caps. We do not have to buy new ones every year. So, no, I agree with you, and I think given today's situation, it's critical we don't, you know, lose these people that we've trained and spent so much time with. So, all right, anyone else? Otherwise, we have the minutes from the Park and Rec meeting, which was October 19th. A motion to approve and put those on, hold on, Dan, yes, that's all we have. Motion to approve and put those on file, please.
So moved to accept the minutes.
All right, motion by Linda, second by
I'll second it.
Jeannie. Place those minutes on file. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, approved, all right. License and permits, you have Door County Inspections fee chart for the month. And correspondence. The report to the Door County Board of Supervisors amendment to the zoning map. This was the PESH request to rezone that parcel. It was completed. And we also have payment advice, which was which one was this? Sideways
Shared
here.
revenues.
Shared revenues, thank you. You have a on-call list if there are issues with snow plowing. Put this someplace where you can find it. Call that person and tell them there's a road that needs to be squared away, and they will. City of Sturgeon Bay, you have the fire report from them. And lastly, you have the notice of the public hearing for the ATV accessing the town roads. And included in there is a notice that, a memo that I wrote that went out to the Bay Shore Association, Whitefish Bay, Glidden Drive, and Clark Lake Associations, informing them of this hearing so that we got as much public input with respect to what we do on this issue as possible. Amy also sent it to the distribution list that she has for agendas. And if anyone out there wants to give us some any input, they can do so through email, telephone, fax, through our website. or you can come to the hearing one way or the other, so we can understand the implication of approving this if it were to happen. There are maps available at the town hall that someone can take a look at. Not all roads in the town will be opened, but the majority would be if this were to happen. And town clerk is fully versed on this topic as well, so maybe. Derek?
Quick
No.
question, Mike, how do you anticipate that meeting to go late?
I do not know.
Well, we're starting at 5:30 for that reason,
Yeah.
so.
If we have, if we have large attendance, if it turns into a quarry type thing, I will limit input from people. If it's just a reasonable number of people, you know, we'll just control it as normal, give people a chance to express their views.
Are we gonna broadcast it too? I wasn't sure from that aspect, just trying to figure out if I need to work something
I
out.
don't know. I don't know that it really needs to be broadcasted.
Okay.
No decision will be made with respect to that. It'll just be an intake hearing and until the December meeting. So, I don't think it necessarily has to. I'm really not expecting a big turnout based on the feedback that I've been given to this point. There are some people with opinions, obviously, and that's fine, but I'm not thinking we're gonna be overwhelmed. So, okay? So if anyone has any questions on any of that, please get back to me. We are down to the vital few announcements. The third annual Town of Sevastopol Christmas Party is Friday, December 3rd, from 5 to 8 p.m., right here at the Town Hall. And based on the last few years, it was a jolly good time.
Ooh, it's gonna be even better. Even better than.
Our two elves, Miss Amy and Miss Linda, have been working feverishly preparing for this event. And Laddie, perhaps you could swing the camera to show them the lovely tree that the town has. This is one of the most unique trees that I've ever seen.
It's unique.
I think it's quite attractive, actually. So, thanks,
It's like
Laddie.
Santa's hanging
And
out
we
for
do
dear life on
expect an
top.
appearance.
Oh, and we understand that whether there's snow or not, Santa will be appearing, so.
Thank goodness.
Second item is the public hearing on ATVs and UTVs on town roads, Tuesday, December 7th at 5:30. We have a Park and Rec meeting on Wednesday, December 15th at 6. And our next Board of Supervisors meeting is sometime in December. Hopefully, we'll iron that out in the next day or so, but either the 13th or the 20th.
Dan, there is a concert on the 13th. I just talked to Tanya Hasenegger,
Yeah.
so.
So anticipated to go later than 7:30 if we did that? Who knows? Okay. Looks like we're on the 20th.
We're
Sorry.
staying with the 20th?
We're gonna stay with the 20th.
Okay.
That's what Dan inquires.
I know we asked Amy last year when her daughter had it too, so. Okay. Agenda items for next month. Anybody have anything that comes right to mind other than ATVs? If not, the next piece of business would be to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Well, thank you.
Second.
Motion by Derek, second by Mark. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.